Are we live? All right, good deal. Good morning. Give me a minute. Let me plug the microphone in. Got a new setup today, new room. I think we're going to have some really nice sound quality in here. Just bear with me. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, good morning. Good morning. There we go. All right, it's almost silent in this room. There's even just the slightest bit of static. All right, I'm gonna All right, good morning. I'm going to read just some of the headlines that I saw from last night, as well as talk about some of the headlines that came in yesterday. And we'll go from there. See if I can log into my own video just in case I get anybody in here. We'll go from there. So good morning. I want to make sure all these charts come in good. I noticed it's getting cut off, but it looks like we're good. So let's get to it. Let's see what we got cooking. I am in a new setup today. So I've got here in my surfboard room, and surfboard room, we're going to turn this into the podcast studio. So bear with me, and we're going to get this thing rolling today. So hope y'all are having a great morning. Hey, stocks are up this morning. The stock market likes what was in store for it yesterday, or the news that came in overnight. So just make sure we got the right chart. Let's just do a little 5-minute chart, little 5-minute candles. AMD champion, baby. AMD the champ. Go watch for Monday. If you were here on Monday, and you invested $1,000 in AMD, you'd be $100 richer right now. So careful on it though. I mean, it's 114. I think is a level on AMD that we see some resistance around. I think that 114, 115 will provide some resistance as we get to that top end. But China could invade Taiwan, and AMD is $150 stock. So anywhere you can get in, I think, under 115. I'd see what happens at 1 o'clock today. But we're still in a buy level, in my opinion. But, that's only if you plan to hold it for 5 years at a minimum. So invest wisely. I got one move trying to get on to Hive blockchain this morning. Let's see if it shows you if I've been filled for my entry. Gotcha. So let's tune in this morning. Let's tune in. We got a new room. I think that I'm even getting a little static from my computer. Either way, it should sound good. Made sure I got a good microphone before starting any of this. I like good sound quality. I hate if I listen to a podcast or a YouTube and the sound quality is shit. So hope you guys enjoy. Join me every morning, 6:45. I'll probably talk for about an hour about what we saw in the stock market yesterday versus what we could possibly see today. And overall, just give you any ideas that pop into my brain. But we've always got to start tuning in. And we're going to start with the Wim Hof breathing method. So do 1, do 5, do 10 if you'd like. And it's a deep in and out, a deep inhale, exhale, 10 times. On the 10th exhale, you're going to hold the breath as long as you can out. On that following inhale, you're going to hold the breath as long as possible in. So 10 breaths in and out. Hold the last breath out. Hold the following breath in as long as possible. And then I like to finish it with a fire breath with a tongue out, mouth exhale. So let's tune in. I hope it sounds good. I really think that my mic is picking up static from my computer because that's the only noise in this room right now is just the fan making noise from my computer. So I hope it's okay. If I ever needed to get some music going on over it, if it bothered anybody, we could make that happen. So tune in. Let's tune in. Let's get your day started. If you're getting ready, I hope you have a great day out there, and let's get after it relentlessly today. Have a great day. Hey, tune in, and then we're going to get into some news. Tune in with your breath, tune in with yourself, and then we can start to tune in with what's going on around us. So go ahead and tune in. Deep breaths. Stretch those face muscles out. Blink those eyeballs. And then relax. Relax the shoulders. Relax the jaw. Relax the eye muscles. And just come into a place of stillness. Come into a place where you're going to recognize some of the factors coming into your environment. You're going to recognize the external factors coming in, and you're going to be able to react to them. You're going to be able to react. You're going to be able to overcome. Yesterday was just play the game. Just play the game, and I promise you will see results over time. Time played is going to be as important as how you play. So just get in this game. Get in and start playing this stock market game, and invest smartly. The word for today is patience. Patience. You see, we talked about AMD Monday, and I'm sorry, this is just to brag a little bit, but if we look at where we're at from Monday, Monday was flat. I think I bought some in an account at 103. Still dipped, but look. So 100 is a good level for AMD. Now, under 115, I think is still a great buy, but you have got to look at where we've been, how many times this 100 level has held up. So the 100 level has held support on AMD very, very well. Now this is going back until 3/17 of last year. And I mean, look at where we hold this. So now this was before earnings, so we had the earnings right here. Oh, see, I'm tripping. I thought there was something wrong with that. Anyways, all right, so look, we hold the 100, we bounce off it. We hold that 100 level, we bounce off it. We hold that 100 level, and we get all the way up to 164. So this 100 level is a nice level. Now, be patient. You may be able to see what happens at 1 o'clock today, and then it may come back down near this 100 level. But either way, I'm buying in this range, and I've already bought Monday, so I'm good. And my strategy is a long-term investment strategy where, hey, I put a little bit of money in when it reaches a good level that I like on a company that I like. I told you why I liked AMD on Monday. And then I won't look at it until a month from now, or maybe my next paycheck will look to see where AMD's at. If it's still in this range, if it's in this 110 to 100 range, maybe I buy a little bit more in this range. But China could invade Taiwan, and AMD is going to be a $150 stock. So anything invested in AMD now, your expectation is $150. My expectation is $200 for AMD. My expectation is a $350 split, and they may even split once we get to 200, 250. So, whichever way you slice it, I'm an AMD fan. But my advice as an investor is to find a stock that you like. Find a stock that you like, because you're going to be willing to buy that stock, B, hold that stock, and C, buy more of that stock. So if you like Apple, if you use Apple, 155 is it. Now it dropped down to 150 yesterday, but 155 is a great price point for it. And we're going to do a 30-minute chart. I think this is going to look good, because then you can really see every level, and you can see how super discounted Monday was on Apple. It was crazy. So, Apple was just a $180 stock, and it was a $3 trillion company. So again, this is why the United States will always be the best market to invest in, because we have these American companies that are the biggest, the most worldwide, the most well-renowned, and they're headquartered in America. Google, Amazon, Disney, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, Intel, all American companies. So I don't know of any Chinese companies like that. I'm sure Chinese companies know of Google. I'm sure Chinese people in Asia know of YouTube. They know Apple phones. They know Google. They know Amazon. So that's where the strength in these markets is what's been my favorite investments for the past 5-6 years and more, really since 2017. And I was selling cars and I started investing in NVIDIA. So let's take a look at some of the headlines that I saw. So I'll start with yesterday. The markets liked some of the headlines from this morning, but I'll start with just some of the notes from yesterday that I noticed pop up. One of which I think was a very interesting one, and I'm going to tweet this link out. See if we can get anybody in here. So we'll see if I can get anybody in here. I'll talk about some of the headlines that hit yesterday, and then we'll talk about some of the headlines that hit overnight that's got the markets popping up like they are. And we'll talk about the upcoming Fed meeting today and what that'll bring for the markets and what that's going to mean for interest rates and bonds. So we'll look at all that. But I do have a viewer in here, so I will begin. Now, the headline that got me yesterday, and this kind of tripped me out, was Saudi contemplating transaction of oil in yuan. So, is the petrodollar finished? That would be crazy. So China has a difficult time when commodity prices rise because a lot of their costs are fixed and set, and they try to control and suppress price levels as much as possible, because it helps facilitate the overall spending. So I know they don't like oil prices going up. And so now what we see, along with the U.S. trying to negotiate with some of these other partners like Iran, Saudi, Venezuela, why you would try to partner with Iran and Venezuela are crazy. But it's all to get the oil price down. And so that was an interesting headline. One interesting thing that nominated Fed Chair Powell, and there was a withdrawal of a nominee yesterday, which should bring, and she wasn't liked by the Republicans, so it should bring the acceptance of the other Fed chairs. And so Fed nominated Fed Chair Powell should be inaugurated. But one thing he mentioned was there can be multiple reserve currencies in the world. So even if we go away from the petrodollar, so right now, global trade of oil has to be denominated in the dollar. And it doesn't, that is just a rule. It doesn't affect the profitability of Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple. So it doesn't necessarily affect it directly. It's just some world rule that is set. And to me, I'm glad the market didn't freak out on that headline yesterday. I would be worried if this headline comes back out and the market reacted to it differently. I think we could be, it could cause a market reaction just from a part of uncertainty. And we wouldn't want to clash with China. So it is what it is. If they want to transact in oil, let it be. So I'm also gonna talk about today how these hedge funds, and this is gonna be a tricky subject because some of these names of these companies that own 90% of the stocks on Wall Street. I might get kicked off of YouTube for mentioning some of these companies. BlackRock, State Street, Citadel, JP Morgan. These companies own about 90% of Wall Street. If you look at any top publicly traded company, you're going to see Citadel, BlackRock, Vanguard, which BlackRock and Vanguard, same company. So you're going to see Citadel, BlackRock, and you'll see State Street. Those are pretty much going to be your top holders of any publicly traded company on the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange. To me, it's a big problem because now you have companies with vested interest in multiple sectors of the economy. And I really think this is where we got fucked as citizens, because you had greedy corporate Wall Street fucks wanting to maximize their return on investment by leveraging their positions in legacy media and in government to maximize the return on their investment. Now, I won't get into what particular situation, or just think for yourself on that one. Is a company with billions of dollars invested in multiple industries, would they leverage those ties in other industries to maximize the return on their investment in another place? So think about that. It's a wild thought. So AMD's kind of coming down here a tiny bit. quite sure what we had going on. I'll get into some of those hedge funds here in a second, but let me read you some of the headlines that I got this morning. And again, I follow Unusual Whales. Any desk that comes, any news that comes across Bloomberg is also going to be tweeted out by Unusual Whales. So we've got Zelensky, realistic negotiations. Ryan Cohen of GME, good use of taxpayer money is the government cracking down on hedge fund short sellers. We'll get to that. Will this start of an economic war, as Russia has said? Russia has sanctioned Biden and Blinken, along with Hillary Clinton and some other names. My point yesterday was Russia and Ukraine need to get a deal done ASAP. The length of time of this war is going to have a very substantial impact to the world economy. Get a deal done. We can't continue this. We've already made our position clear. We're not going into Ukraine. We're not going to escalate tensions inside Ukraine. So let them get a deal done. Where's my computer charger? Oh, there we go. Alright. You gotta get those finicky chargers. Anyways, let's finish some of the headlines going on in the world. Poland calls for a NATO peacekeeping mission backed by armed forces to protect Ukraine. No, we don't want that. I don't want any NATO force going in there. It's only going to cause escalation. Walmart will hire 5,000 tech workers this year. Could be crypto acceptance. Zelensky has said, meetings continue. I am told the position at the negotiations sounds more realistic. So Zelensky is not in the meeting directly because he's told at the negotiations. Interesting. So Russia won't even meet with Zelensky. They're meeting with their people over there. U.S. Senate unanimously condemns Putin as war criminal. The VIX was halted yesterday, so the uncertainty meter in the market, the VIX, which is basically your fear indicator of the market. I like to follow the UVXY. It's the ETF that tracks the VIX. So this is going to move inverse of your SPY. So you see this chart looking the opposite of the SPY chart. This is typically going to be your panic radar. The VIX and the UVXY, when this is shooting up, stocks are dropping hard. It means uncertainty in the market. Typically bad news. Look at Bitcoin pushing up to $40,500. I love it. I'm going to tell you why Hive and Bitcoin miners could be a life-changing investment. So that's about it. I think we're up this morning mainly from the Zelensky realistic negotiation talk. And it sounds good, sounds positive. But we are going into a Fed rate hike decision today. So we've got 1 o'clock, I believe, is when the decision on transcript will be paper released. It'll be electronically released. So we should see the move in the market at 1 o'clock. We'll get further confirmation from nominated Fed Chair Powell at 1:30, but he'll basically just give us what is on the sheet in front of Congress, I believe, and he will also take any potential questions. Um, we've been seeing some interesting movement in the bond markets. The specifically in the 20-year and the 10-year. 20-year has been coming down. The 20-year yield has been coming down. So, um, it basically is getting to look like the yield curve is flattening, which is an interesting thing that basically going to mean your interest rates, your yields are creeping up in the short term. In the 10-year is even pushing up high right now. So I texted my buddy John, and I just asked what the length of time on most of the bonds he buys and sells are. So he works in bonds. Him and my buddy Herb, they work together in buying and selling bonds. And he told me that if the yield is going up, the actual paper sell price goes down. And he said that the 10-year, that's weird. He said the 10-year, or he said when yields go up, that the paper prices go down. So the 10-year, let's get that off the screen. Anyways, he told me the 10-year was popping up, which made me think, hey, it might be a fire sale in the bond market, because that 10-year has been a little volatile going up. So he said the 10-year is about the sweet spot on his bonds. He said rising yields means a lower sell price, and the 10-year interest rate's going up. I think low and slow is the way to go. In my opinion, time can help ease inflation concerns as supply chains catch up to demand. And that's a lot of what we saw. We just, I was giving you a little background on my market yesterday. We just saw parts, tires, trucks, everything became a little more difficult to get, whether that was from factories shut down during the pandemic, business stimulus, and they were able to spend more. But regardless, people were buying faster than supply could keep up with demand, and that caused prices to increase because competition was more abundant. So time can help ease inflation pressures. And there's no reason to go decreasing demand at a crazy level, raising the interest rates, by a 0.75 interest rate hike. So hope it's sounding good. Tune in. Got a cup of coffee. Hope you had a great shower. Hope you had a great night of sleep last night, and are waking up feeling refreshed, ready to get after it today. I honestly don't love all these names up like this in pre-market. I wish they had ended yesterday really good and then come back down to give us some more buying opportunities. I was really hoping that we dipped before we ripped before a power speak, but just watch. This market could come crashing down off of these highs in pre-market and set up some nice buying opportunities today. Again, don't chase anything. I'm not too sure how a rising interest rate hike affects Bitcoin. But I'm a Bitcoin bull. I love it. I love the fact that as much as I've been talking about quantum theory these past couple days, uh, that's all these stocks are. They're a test of the consumer sentiment on each of these names. So why I was telling you America is the greatest market is because the sentiment on Apple and Google and Amazon is that they are the best companies in the world. They're the most profitable. They are the most intertwined into every society, and they're worldwide global companies headquartered here in America that trade and can make you money on our stock exchange. Now, I may be oblivious to the Asian markets top names, but I would imagine that people in Asia are aware of Amazon and Google uh, compared to the amount of people in America that knew about, you know, Huawei. I don't even know if Huawei is a publicly traded company in Asia, but that's going to be their Apple competition. And I believe Apple's in Asia, in China. You know, again, when we talk about quantum theory, we also can't believe things that we can't 100% verify. At least that's my opinion. So I choose to remain sideless. I choose to not believe any facts unless it is directly presented to me by somebody I know and love and care deeply about. So it's just the way my brain works. I think about it and I analyze it, but you can think about something without judging it. You can think about something without taking a stance on it, and it's only until I could really, just like anything, until you can sit down and really have a conversation about it or understand it in a way that makes sense to your brain, that you get a verified account, boots on the ground report that this is going on, then we can't confirm or deny it any other way. So again, yesterday we had Saudi to contemplate transacting oil in yuan. So petrodollar, you could see some talk about the petrodollar standard ending, which isn't a bad thing. Doesn't mean a company like Apple is going to lose revenue or lose consumer sentiment to invest in Apple. It just means that now Saudi, Russia, any of these oil producing countries do not have to settle their oil transactions in dollars as they have had to in the past, which theoretically would weaken the dollar. Now, could a weakening dollar have an effect on some of these treasury bonds? Potentially. I still think as a country our debt should be serviceable and of the highest grade. And that going off of the petrodollar shouldn't, take away from the strength of our country. But again, to me, the strength of our country is in the Apples, it's in the Teslas, it's in the Googles, it's in the Squares, it's in the Costcos, it's in the Marvells, it's in the Unity softwares. It's in the Robloxes, it's in the Microsoft, it's in the Coinbase, it's in the Walt Disney. So, I did want to talk about Callaway Golf today. So, one of my recent investments in the long-term portfolio is Callaway Golf. I didn't know Callaway Golf bought Topgolf. Topgolf is expanding like crazy. It's interesting. They're building a Topgolf here in Charleston. I know that they've got one. Maybe even putting a second one in Charlotte. And these things are packed. Lines out the door every time I've ever been food and beer is $5 to $10 more expensive than anywhere else, and it's constantly flowing. The kitchens are constantly cooking. The beer is constantly flowing. So I like the fact that a company could and should be seeing this earnings revenue continue to go up. So 856 million revenue, 913 million, and they had a couple wonky earnings reports in there because of the pandemic. Obviously, Topgolf wasn't doing as well if people weren't going. So you see, it just starts to. So Q4 of last year may have been their kind of worst, but we're at a great price point. So if you like golf, if you like Topgolf, if you like Callaway, this is not going to be a crowded trade. This is probably not going to be a super high percentage gainer. It traded $1.8 million already today. Wow, so somebody has bought a shit ton of Eli today. ELY is Callaway Golf. See, it's traded $1.8 million today when all these other names. Wow, so somebody bought this stock like crazy today. We're gonna look at it, but there's probably gonna be a huge green candle right here. Not huge, but I mean, somebody's buying this thing. It's traded 1.8 million shares this morning. Crazy. You look at like Tesla's only traded 169.91 shares, 1,000 shares this morning. So for Callaway Golf to have traded 1 million already, we're gonna have to look at the level 2 on that. It's a weird looking level 2. Alright, so the EU Parliament had a bill to, and I'm going to check on this because I was trying to get into Hive this morning in my short-term account. I've got lots of it in my long-term portfolio, but with this Bitcoin bounce, the Bitcoin's pushing up above 45. I think if we continue to get positive movement in the market, Bitcoin should go back to retest the 45 mark. We should get some shorts closing out. We should get another push step at that 45 mark. But I had an order and it's still there. It hasn't been filled at 175 for Hive. And still hasn't been filled yet. The order book has actually moved up a bit. It's getting tighter, but the orders, the asks are right now at 179 is the cheapest ask. So bear with me. I've got to raise my bid to 179. I'm trying to buy 500 shares of Hive. So one thing I've been dabbling with is short-term trading. Again, my best investment advice, and the only thing I've had success with, is buying a company that you like and holding it for 5 to 10 years. And it's gonna go up, it's gonna come down. Set a parameters before you buy that, hey, I'm gonna buy AMD in between this 110, in between this 100 to 110 range. And now you've purchased a little bit. Let's say you purchased some at 103 Monday, like I did. Um, what I did was I haven't used TD Ameritrade in a while. My long term is with Charles Schwab. I used to use TD Ameritrade, and I wanted to see if it would be good. I use Webull for short term trading because I have a job, I work, so I trade on the go. I think Webull is Webull is a great mobile trading platform. The charts look good on the computer as well, but these charts look great on the phone, and it's super easy to trade. Look, we got Bitcoin pushing up. We can watch Bitcoin, but here's Hive. So EU had a parliament to ban Bitcoin and its proof of work mining, and it failed. So these Bitcoin miners, I was playing these this summer, and obviously everything was doing good last summer. Bitcoin was going crazy. Apple was up at 180. These were great stocks during the summer. But this thing is at a level, and I'm trying to buy in at 179 right now. This thing is at a level that it hasn't ever been in. So your downside risk is very minimal. We're at the bottom here. So your downside risk is minimal. I was buying this stock in the twos for this run up here, and I didn't sell it quick enough. But this thing is gonna go to $5. Bitcoin's gonna go back up. Bitcoin's pushing up, so I can't even get the bid filled right now. But I was playing all of these Bitcoin miners, and look, it did 6% yesterday. BKKT Holdings, this is a company out of Alpharetta, Georgia. It's a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin and Ethereum wallet, and did 8% yesterday. The two companies that I was invested in over the summer, Marathon is an American Bitcoin mining company, and anytime Bitcoin goes up, guys, these are gonna skyrocket. Hut 8 is a Canadian-based mining company, and then Bitfarms. My two favorite are Bitfarms and Hive, just because the price point. I think all these companies should be seeing the price point of Marathon. So imagine if Hive goes from $175 to $20, guys. I'll say it again. Hive in Marathon and Riot. I don't follow Riot. I don't know why. They're another American Bitcoin mining company. But let's just say a worst case scenario, Hive gets to this 333 range. Guys, you can double your money on Hive. You're going to quadruple your investment on Hive. Don't take this to the bank. This is not investing advice. This is just my amateur opinion. I've been following Hive blockchain again from midsummer up into the fives, and it's gonna be fun. Gonna be fun, guys. This is where the company went public right here. So I was in Bitfarms. I think it was an OTC. It was an over-the-counter traded stock that got uplisted. So, we were playing this thing in the summer, and it's below that price, which is crazy. And Bitcoin, Bitcoin in this time was in this similar range, and this thing ended up shooting up almost to $10. So just think about that, guys. Bitfarms is going to be a $9 stock. You get in at $3 right now, you're going to triple your money. So again, it's not investment advice. This is just a low risk, high reward idea. Everything's a gamble. Everything. It's going to be cool. We're going to do on this channel. We'll do some live bracketology stuff. I just filled out my bracket yesterday. If anybody sees this and wants to get in the link for our bracket, let me know. I can forward that to you. We're trying to get anybody in. $10 a bracket. And I can even live stream it on here in the mornings as we get updates from the tourney. So, hey, we got some light coming in the room. I hope it looks good. It's going to be a great day. Market likes whatever news it got this morning. So, just tune in. Hertz. 528 hertz. Love frequency. So just tune in. Tune into yourself. Tune into any thoughts, anything around you, anything that comes into you. If you're in tune with yourself, you're going to be able to receive it, and you'll know what to do with it. God is good. So, I want to pray for anybody that sees this. God, hear our prayers. We turn to you. We seek you. We rebuke any evil, any doubt, any fear, anything that we've been struggling to put a positive viewpoint on, God. We rebuke that. And through you, through your Son Jesus, we seek enlightenment. We seek knowledge. We seek to have a positive viewpoint on the events, on the outcome. We seek Jesus. We love you. We thank you. We pray for the citizens of the world. We pray for your humans. We are your humans. We are Jesus' disciples. We give our lives to Jesus. And in your name we pray. Amen. So, I pray for y'all. Did I get filled? No. So I'm waiting on Hive to get filled at 179 in the pre-market, and it's not filling me right now, guys. So I'm trying to get filled below $2. Get in. HIVE. Bitcoin mining companies. They can skyrocket, guys. They can go. Absolutely go. Alright, so let's talk about some of these companies I mentioned earlier. And I hope this doesn't get me in trouble, but 90% of Wall Street is owned by really just three companies. It's going in name, it's four companies, but BlackRock and Vanguard are intertwined. So you've got Citadel, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. And one thing I thought was interesting is the Citadel posted their yearly numbers from 2021, and they had millions of dollars in unclosed positions. So unclosed positions on margin. So this wasn't cash that they held on their balance sheet. This wasn't a situation like we just saw on the London's Medical Exchange, where a nickel tycoon who owns billions of dollars worth of nickel has taken a short position against something that he physically owns a bunch of. This is made up. This is the Citadel and whoever it is making up a scenario that, and we're going to take AMC because it's the easiest. These hedge funds thought AMC was going to go to zero. So they've got billions and millions of dollars in their account, but these exchanges and these brokers like a JP Morgan let them get into millions of dollars in short positions on margin. So what that is this company through JP Morgan is saying, hey, I want to open up a short position on AMC. I want to open up $1 million short position on AMC. And they don't have to physically own the AMC stock. They can just buy a short position on margin with the intent to purchase that stock at a lower price. Now, what happens is if that price goes up, the broker should have rules in place that don't allow the amount of margin to be exceeded by the potential buyback. So that is what AMC was hoping for with the short squeeze, in the fact that the price would run up, the margin would exceed the margin requirement for the broker or the exchange, and the people in the short positions would be margin called, and instead of their original plan being to buy back lower or buy AMC, start the short position on AMC at 18, buy it back when it's $5, they essentially could and should have gotten screwed. Now the problem is what if there are no margin requirements? What if Citadel can just infinitely short AMC to zero? And is this fair to retail traders? In my opinion, this is not. Especially when you don't have defined rules for these traders to know, hey, if we run up AMC to $20, these people are super negative on their margin and they should be margin called, but they're going to continue to short AMC. So we saw this on the London Metal Exchange, the LME, the London Metal Exchange. Basically a Chinese tycoon nicknamed the Big Shot, who owns a Chinese nickel company, Chinese metal, nickel, alloy, other alloys. And so what these people do when they own this much of these assets sometime is they like to take out a short position to hedge their bet. And this is okay because, if you physically owned a ton of AMC and it was, you physically owned it, it might be okay to take out a short position against something that you physically own, because essentially that's just like selling it and buying it back at a lower price. You physically own the asset. If the price goes up, you're still going to physically own the asset. You don't have to buy it back in at a lower price. So what this guy on the London Metal Exchange did, he had a giant nickel short position. With the commodities volatility, the price skyrocketed,
and the London Metal Exchange tried to margin call his broker, which I believe was J.P. Morgan, and there may have been some others. And this guy basically said no. He basically said no. Because he can control the cost of nickel. His company owns, makes, and sells nickel. So he can just say no. This is not, because he physically owns it. Now, whether that's correct or not, it's a tiny bit different than just a hedge fund shorting AMC on margin on just made up paper money that they don't own because they think it's going to zero. This is a guy that actually is in the nickel market, knows what he's doing, and he's hedging his bet. It's totally makes sense. It seems more fair. Now, whether the London Metal Exchange is just changing their margin requirements and not calling this guy, if this guy is just going to say F you to JP Morgan and leave JP Morgan on the hook. But the London Metal Exchange is set to reopen the nickel trading. I believe today they're going to have a 5% gap up or gap down limit on it. So they're going to keep it controlled. But these systems are flawed, guys. These systems are flawed, and coming together is our best chance of fighting back. And that's where I think that the media and a lot of the latest craze to just have 1,000% gains in 2 days is crazy. If you've got shit tons of money to throw around and you want to day trade and gamble a lot of money, that's fine. Play options. Options are a great way to make a shit ton of money, and it's also a great way to lose a shit ton of money fast. So, my advice to any trader is find something you like, buy a little bit at a price target that you like, know where that price target is at, set it, check it once a month. When you have an extra couple $100 to invest, check that price. Always practice patience. My word of the day today was patience. Always practice patience. There will be a better buying opportunity. Do not go even AMD. I still like AMD at this price, but I would wait till it comes back closer to $100. We know we have strong support at the $100 level. So be patient. Be patient. And know, even if you go, this thing could go up to 150, and it's probably going to come back down below 130 at some point in its near future. It's probably going to come back down below 115 again. It's probably going to be close to 100 on Friday. So, again, don't go chasing. Just because I was talking about this Monday, and it went crazy yesterday. Today's Wednesday. Don't go chasing these moves. It'll come back down. It'll come back down to a price that you like, and then you can buy some. But only buy with just set a game plan. If your game plan was to hop in on yesterday morning on AMD, great. If your plan was to hop in yesterday morning and take out today, great. Stick to it. Take it out. My plan was to buy AMD on Monday at that 103 price point that I loved and hold it for 10 years with the intent to check it every month and decide if it's below a price point that I want to continue to reinvest. I did this with NVIDIA in 2017. And a year later, it ended up coming back down to a very similar price point that it was when I invested in it in the first place. And I bought some more. And then what did it do? It kept going up. It kept going up. It kept going up. It split, stock split twice. So have patience. Know your levels. These stocks work magic at these levels, so we'll face some resistance at 114, 115 on AMD. I hope we blow past this level today, and shoot up to this level, hopefully shoot up to that 125, 130 level. But today's going to be an interesting day. We got a possible Fed rate hike, and we talked about short sellers. We talked about Saudi possibly transacting oil trades in the yuan, going away from the petrodollar global reserve currency. This is a very volatile market right now, so be patient. We are not out of a inflationary environment yet. We had record inflation, near record inflation in 2021, and we're not off to a good start in 2022. Overall, it's been low volume. Yesterday was a little higher than Monday. Watch the banks and the bonds on this interest rate move. Obviously, interest rates going to affect, some of those loans, some long-term loans, short-term loans, some things like that will have an effect in the banking sector. And then see what the bonds do. It's looking like the yield curve, the yield over time, interest rates essentially we're starting to flatten out, with the 10-year going up like crazy, the 20-year coming down like crazy, and the market's already kind of pricing in a 0.25 to 0.5 basis point hike, in my opinion, because that short-term rate is kind of popping up here on this side of the chart, and it's staying flat. Where a nice healthy yield curve, money should be very liquid in the short term, almost at 0% interest rate, because banks like to transact quickly. They like to be able to loan and receive large sums of money at near zero interest rates, and because those are short term, because they just borrow in. So the yield curve should have a nice curve, 0 to 1, 2 to 3, 4 to 5, 6 to 7, 8 to 9, 10. And then that 10 and that 20 can then start to level off a little bit. But we want a nice healthy yield curve. And what we've gotten is the short term has popped up a little bit. It's going to make banks and some of those short term loans a little more difficult to transact. And it's the 10 years up, but that 20 years flat. So we wouldn't want to see an inverted yield curve. Something would be drastically wrong. So flattening's going the wrong way. We want to see it get back to a nice, healthy level here today. I'm going to go sell some trucks. Tune in with yourself. Tune in with whatever you want to do in life. Tune in. Have patience. Patience was the word of the day. And just play the game. Get in the game. If there's something you're interested in, go get in the game. Just start playing. If you want to, play volleyball, whatever it is, just go find somebody also playing the game. If you want to play stocks, tune in every morning. And buy a stock you like. Just buy one. Spend $100. What I'm trying to buy this morning. High right here, baby, with Bitcoin popping up. So Bitcoin. Yeah. All right, I love y'all. Have a great day. Be blessed. Tell your family you love them. Tell your friends you love them. Do something kind. Don't judge. Put on Put on God's armor. Put on God's breastplate, the helmet, the sword, and be ready. Be ready. Health and wealth, baby. Health and wealth. If you can take control of your life in those two areas, you're going to feel a lot better. You're going to feel a lot better. So, work hard. Keep a little money coming in. And keep investing. Time played is going to be just as important as how this game is played, especially in the stocks. Just play the game over time. That's how we win. We know what we're doing. We know what we're investing in. We do our research, and we use time as our ally. So, pick levels. Know where your entry points are. Know where you want your exit points to be in this market. My invest, and I've had most success being a long-term investor. But I do invest short-term as well, and I try to take safe bets. I've gotten burned on options before. Weekly options, guys, take a ton of research, and you can't get them wrong, or you'll lose all your money. So I don't play weekly options. I got a couple options on wheat, WEAT. Price of wheat has been going up. Take a look at the futures before we bounce. The ES, the S&P futures, up a little bit, 4,300. Wheat futures. Let's see. Wheat futures. All right, I gotta go, guys. Love y'all. Brent crude futures. We need this to be below 100. Hey, we got somebody in here. I was talking about short sellers on the market, man, and how basically 3 companies, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard, BlackRock, Citadel in there as well, and they own 90% of Wall Street, and well, I lost my viewer. So anyways, you heard the message. Be safe, be blessed. Could be a good day, but again, practice patience. Love y'all. Goodbye.